The greatest basketball players and possibly the greatest athletes in the world are to be found in the NBA. Once a year, the best of the best is on display in the glittering setting of the All-Star Game. It's New York and East against West for the 18th time. There's Oscar Robertson in his 8th appearance. The West, giving away size, needs rugged rebounders like Bill Bridges to stay alive. It's also the first All-Star excitement for players like Dave Bing and Archie Clark. The Big O and Jerry Lucas stage a familiar act. And so do Elgin Baylor. And a fellow named Jerry West, who steals and finds Baylor for a basket. But John Havlicek shows the West he also has good hands. The East is too tough as Bill Russell blocks. Gus Johnson hustles for a great save. And Willis Reed hits. The East has momentum and high-flying Gus Johnson. The East wins, and once more everyone is convinced how impossible it is to stop the greatest shooters in the world. Commissioner Walter Kennedy honors Hal Greer of Philadelphia as the most valuable player of an All-Star game that is getting bigger and better. So is the expanding NBA. In 1959-60, there were 8 teams, with St. Louis the farthest west, and the Lakers still in Minneapolis. The move west introduced the Lakers to Los Angeles, and the Warriors to San Francisco, the Rockets to San Diego, and the Supersonics to Seattle. Under Commissioner Walter Kennedy, the NBA has gone from 9 teams to the present lineup of 14 major cities, shifting St. Louis to Atlanta, adding Phoenix and Milwaukee, and also more opportunities for the finest college basketball players in the country, the rookies of the NBA.
One might think that a rookie would have a difficult time in the NBA, but when you consider from our ball club, the Baltimore Bullets, Earl Monroe has become one of the outstanding players in the league in his initial season. It's most important to be an individual ball player when you come into the NBA. He has what you would call star qualities. He has great offensive ability. He has great desire to excel. He has great offensive moves. I would say that these are the basic qualities that have made him a fine pro.
There also was Mal Graham of Boston. And Detroit's Jimmy Walker, the league's top draft choice. And Walt Frazier of the Knicks. And Princeton Bill Bradley of the Knicks. And long-armed Phil Jackson, also of the Knicks. And Al Tucker and Bob Rule of Seattle. And Wes Wesley of Cincinnati. And Pat Riley of San Diego. And Clem Haskins of Chicago. Some success, some disappointments. In the struggle to dethrone the world champion 76ers, Jack McMahon had no illusions in San Diego, one of the expansion franchises. Don Kogis, drafted from Chicago, was a dependable with his drive and determination. Tony Kimball of the Boston Celtics was one of the big men. Henry Finkel from the Lakers was another. Rookie Hambone Williams, a tryout camp discovery, helped with his hustle, but injuries hurt the Rockets badly. Walt Hazzard of the Lakers was the key player for Seattle, the other expansion team. Bob Weiss, taken from Philadelphia's roster, added punch to the backcourt. Dory Murray, obtained from Detroit, contributed size and shooting. So did rookie Al Tucker. In San Francisco, Nate Thurman sat it out after an injury to a knee before the All-Star break. Clyde Lee was asked to take over as center for the defending Western champs. The addition of Rudy LaRusso, a rugged veteran, helped strengthen things up front. Al Attles, quick hands, quick feet, made the backcourt tough. So did Jeff Mullins, one of the top outside shooters in the game. The Los Angeles Lakers? Why, Elgin Baylor and Jerry West, naturally. Elgin Baylor, the impossible man with the impossible shots, making Butch Van Bredekoff's new job as Laker coach a little easier.
Well, I think I've been very fortunate to come into a strange league out of college ball, and then to have my leader and one of my key players in Elgin Baylor. Elgin is just absolutely an amazing player. People thought that he was on his way out. They thought that his knees were bothering him, and gosh, this year he's done everything I've asked him to. He comes back on defense. He's probably our best defensive rebounder, putting all things together. Then, once we get on the offense, Elgin is just in the class by himself.
The St. Louis Hawks had a problem with Lou Hudson in service until late in the season. They still featured alert players, such as Bill Bridges, Lenny Wilkins, and the shot-blocking Zelmo Beatty to remain a tough team to score on. The offense also was typically aggressive. Paul Silas, taking over for Hudson, rugged off the offensive board. Joe Caldwell, what more can I say? The Chicago Bulls, a surprise team the year before, relied a lot on Bob Boozer and his pet shot around the key. Glenn Robinson, another fine outside shooter, was obtained in a trade with Cincinnati. Leaping Jim Washington, the smallest NBA center at 6'7", handled the rebounding. And Jerry Sloan also provided rebounding for a team that lacked size. Those were the 6 Western representatives on the NBA Game of the Week, brought to national television audiences. Jack Twyman and yours truly. The Detroit Pistons, once in the West, moved to the Eastern Division with the addition of Seattle and San Diego. The amazing Dave Bing can rebound too. And he can make the play for Eddie Miles. And when Dave DeBuscher, a tricky rebounder, gets the ball, the Super Soph also does a little shooting. Terry Dischinger was back from a 2-year service hitch to help the offense. There also was Big Joe Strawder. And oops, that man Bing again. Philadelphia was the team to beat, and this meant neutralizing Wilt Chamberlain. His rebounding. Blocking shots. It can be frustrating. And feeding to Luke Jackson. To Billy Cunningham. And to Hal Greer, all cutting through the middle. The Boston Celtics, ridiculed as old men, were determined to get back their title from the 76ers. Bill Russell did not feel or act like an old man. John Havlicek was around to steal and to give and go with Sam Jones on the Boston fast break. And there still was instinctive team reaction. Russell blocks. Watch Russell as he does it again. You try scoring on him. Larry Siegfried finally steals, and Sam Jones breaks away to score. The New York Knicks suddenly galvanized when Red Holtzman took over as coach in mid-season. Rookie Phil Jackson, all arms and legs, was the key to the highly successful pressing defense. Holtzman had his players harass the ball handler all over the court. This called for persistence and a deep bench. The Knicks had it, ranging from Dick Barnett to big men Willis Reed, and Walt Bellamy, to rookie Walt Frazier. And to the exciting combination of Cazzie Russell and Bill Bradley. The Cincinnati Royals had some familiar faces and coach Ed Jucker. Jerry Lucas, one of the great rebounders, was back to set off the fast break and help Odie Smith score. The main idea, once again, was to stop Oscar Robertson. And how would you like that assignment? Connie Dierking was the man in charge of playing Russell, Chamberlain, and the other big men. The hopes of Baltimore rested on a good offense. And Gus Johnson's work at one end and at the other. The shooting of Kevin Lockery. And Earl the Pearl, heading for Rookie of the Year. It added up to the most grueling competition in all sports. teams battling through a demanding schedule on the road to the playoffs and the World Championship. The new Garden was to be part of the scene as the world champion Philadelphia 76ers went into their best-of-7 playoff with second place New York. It was Wilt Chamberlain at one end, Willis Reed and Walt Bellamy at the other. An alert Butch Comives and Bellamy beat Chamberlain. So does the aggressive Reed. The 76ers lost Billy Cunningham with a broken wrist, but came on to win a crucial third game at home in double overtime. Johnny Green, an ex-Knick, did a fine job as Cunningham's replacement. Walt Frazier was lost to the Knicks for the last 3 games with a bad ankle, and that hurt. Chamberlain took charge after the Knicks tied 2 games each to put away the series 4-2, and the 76ers were over the first hurdle. The Detroit Pistons, 4th in the East, faced the second-place Celtics. John Havlicek, Larry Siegfried, and Bill Russell get Boston off fast. But Detroit breaks back for a 2-1 lead in the series. The Celtics have their hands full under the boards. Bill Russell works harder. So does Jim Fox, with some extra effort that sets up Bing. Russell also produces extra effort, way behind the ball, but still makes a sensational save and leads Boston to a 4-2 victory in the series. In the new Forum, the Los Angeles Lakers, 2nd in the West, prepare to play the 4th-place Chicago Bulls. Los Angeles wings away and wins the first 2 games. Bob Boozer helped shoot the Bulls to their only victory, but the Lakers are unstoppable, with Jerry West scoring from behind the basket like this. And Freddie Crawford stealing. And Baylor to West to Baylor. What else? As the Lakers win 4-1. Richie Guerin and his first-place Hawks take on third-place San Francisco. The Hawks are in for a 4-2 upset, but don't suspect it at the start. Lenny Wilkins and Paul Silas make the Warriors fall in the first game. Al Attles picks up his team. Driving the middle, drawing the defense, and hitting a wide-open LaRusso. The Warriors shoot ahead 2-1, and the key game becomes the 4th one in San Francisco. Jeff Mullins, a top draft choice of the Hawks at one time, turns everything around, and the home fans on. Mullins beats Wilkins to a loose ball and puts it in. San Francisco trails, and it comes down to one play. Mullins drives the two men. Up and in. San Francisco goes on to win. Sometimes it doesn't pay to be a hero. That brought Los Angeles and San Francisco together in the Western Division Final. San Francisco, so successful in the first round, tries hard but finds the Lakers a different story. The Lakers steal passes. Small man like Archie Clark rebounds and goes all the way. For the finishing touch, always Jerry West and Elgin Baylor, giving Los Angeles a 4-game sweep. Meanwhile, in another new arena, the Spectrum, Philadelphia and Boston are set for the Eastern Division Final. Billy Cunningham is just a spectator on the 76er bench. Philadelphia still has Hal Greer. And tricky Wally Jones, who runs Larry Siegfried at Johnny Green, changes direction, loses his man, draws Bill Russell, and hands off to Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt, who is to be traded to Los Angeles after the season, is the big problem if Boston wants to regain the title it has won so often, and Russell knows it.
Well, the way he's played this year, what we have to be careful of is passing off, because there's a tendency for the outside guys to turn around and watch him. And so I have to drum into the guy's head, forget about him, I'll take care of him. You just make sure the other guys don't get the easy shots. And so we try to shut the other guys off, so that maybe he'll get 25, 30, 35 points, but we try to cut down his assists.
Russell keeps applying the pressure, and Boston carries it to a 7th and final game in Philadelphia. The 76ers crack, and the Boston Celtics run off with the series 4 games to 3 and into a championship match with Los Angeles. Millions of fans are anticipating the action as for the 3rd time in 4 years, the Lakers run into Boston for the NBA championship. They also run into Bailey Howell, picked off, grabs rebound, gives off, gets it back, feeds to Havlicek, picks Tom Hawkins, then releases for the offensive rebound and the basket. A tough customer. The series switches to Los Angeles. And Elgin Baylor tries to overcome things like that. But Havlicek is impossible to stop in the 6th and final game. The scoreboard tells the story. Boston's so-called old men have done it again. 4 games to 2. Champs for the 10th time in 12 seasons. So the rest of the league turns to the job of building and trying to dethrone Boston once more. They look for help among the hundreds of top players coming out of colleges throughout the country. New teams, such as Phoenix and Milwaukee, join the draft meeting in New York. The expansion clubs already have acquired experienced NBA players from the pool set up by the other 12 teams. Wayne Embry of Boston went to Milwaukee. So did John McLaughlin of San Diego. Fred Hetzel of San Francisco. And Guy Rogers of Cincinnati. Dick Van Arsdale of the Knicks landed in Phoenix. So did Gail Goodrich of Los Angeles. Emmett Bryant of the Knicks. And McCoy McLemore of Chicago. Elvin Hayes, the top college basketball player in the country, was drafted #1 and signed by San Diego. Wesley Unseld, another college star, was drafted #2 and signed by Baltimore. Always up, and away, as the NBA constantly works to provide the best in basketball.